Hi, I'm Ron Jess with Jessfor30. As usual, today I have a great guest with me. We have never had one guest that wasn't fantastic. And today's no different. Talk about character and really being a solid, great guy. Jeff Wiska, welcome.
It's an honor, Ron.
Thank you.
Back at you. That's when I think of you, I think of the exact same things.
I appreciate that. Part of where we'd go today is, I'm just going to hit them right off the bat because it's what I think of when I think of you. Detroit Catholic Central to Michigan State University to the NFL.
Yeah. I've lived the American dream, and none of that. I had a great family, great mom and dad, but the best thing in the world that ever happened to me was Detroit Catholic Central. And obviously, I don't mean that as a slight to my wife. The reality is if I didn't have Catholic Central, my wife would never have been attracted to me in the first place. But absolutely slam dunk, the greatest thing that ever happened to me was my parents allowing me the opportunity to go to Detroit Catholic Central, and that totally changed the lens that I viewed the world through.
Jeff, what town did you grow up in?
Farmington Hills, Our Lady of Sorrows.
I didn't know that. I've got a lot of friends, the Nemeses, the Kellys. My brother Danny had his family there for a while. Were you close to your parents and brothers and sisters?
Very close to my parents, very close to my family. Only son. I have a younger sister. It's close to this day. My father passed away in 1998. My mom is still alive at 86.
Do you remember how you and I met?
St. Agatha fundraiser.
I'm so glad you said that. We got a call. I was running an all-class reunion. And, we'd have 50 people, 70, 100, up to 110 would graduate from St. Agatha. Mm-hmm. We ran this one, me and a couple other guys and women, and we were supposed to have like 500. We had 900. They kept pouring in the doors. And the coaches for CYO football said, hey, Ron, you guys are all in the suburbs. You left Redford Township. We're picking uniforms out of Canton and Plymouth garbage for our kids. That's why you got that call. And so did
Mesner, Rick Leach.
Right. Messner.
Yeah.
What an animal.
Yeah, 1984 CC grad, 4-time All Big Ten. He's
something. And all of you, Rick Leach, great guy.
Yeah.
I think
Farmington Hills, lived in Farmington Hills, about a mile away from me.
Grew up in Flint, tough guy, beat Ohio State, I think 3 or 4 times. He was
4-year starter, hard to do.
Starter. Tell us how and why you love Catholic Central.
When you walk in the front door at Catholic Central, you feel the tradition. It's intimidating. The banners. And this was my experience at Catholic Central. At the end of my sophomore year, I'm a backup lineman on the JV football team, try out for the JV baseball team, cut. On the swim team, I managed to be the only person on the swim team that didn't letter, 2.5 grade point average, and I'm laying awake at night. Man, oh man, I am so far over my head because there are smarter people, more talented people. What is life going to hold for me? And then it kicked in. And by the end of my junior year, you realize I might not be capable of being a 36 ACT, but you know what? I'm capable of being a 31 or a 32 ACT. And I might not be the best guy on the football team, but I'm capable of starting. And bottom line, take your 2 arms, your 2 legs, your brain, and it's not okay to be okay at CC. It's you owe it to yourself and others to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And take what we teach you here in the classroom with a moral compass and go out there and be the best version of yourself, and you can accomplish amazing things. Okay's not good enough. You owe it to yourself and the world to be the best version of yourself. That's what I got out of that place.
I sent a message to Anthony Tomey today and said we were going to do this. And there's a CC guy, pitched, I believe, for the Tigers.
Yeah.
He had a couple Jimmy Johns. Now I believe he has 50 or 60.
Yeah.
I've been chasing him for this. He will be on this show. Yeah. And just because he'll realize it's good. What we're doing here is good. And your wife sent me this, Kim sent me this last night, and it's left to right columns. Who do you want to work for? And I think this is must be kind of your credo.
Yes, yeah, it is. I'm very big in today's world. To me, the greatest thing on the endangered species list is that of the leader. And I've tried throughout the years, as in the business world, when I'm leaving the house every day, to be a coach, a mentor, and a teacher, not a boss. And, understanding, having empathy for other folks and doing the best I can, having been blessed to have Coach Tom Mack at Catholic Central and learn from Bill Parcell and learn from Marty Schottenheimer and learn from Don Shula, the upside of being good enough to play in the pros but not being good enough to have a 10 or a 15-year career with any one organization is I was fortunate to be around people like that. And then to just spend my whole life trying to coach people up and not rip them apart and give them 5 compliments for every constructive criticism that I gave them, and to try to put a smile on their face when I walked into the room, not because I was leaving it, and to just be the best version of myself and help other people grow. I wrote Coach Tom Mack a letter at my retirement, and I just told him that I've done my best. What you taught me back in 1976 on the football field, I just want you to know that I've paid it forward, and I've tried to as I leave the business world, take everything that you taught me, and I've taught that to the next generation, and I pray that 30 years from now they're still teaching the things to the next generation that you taught me 35, 40 years ago.
You're a good man, Jeff. You got to play in your home state. You left Catholic Central and you got to play for Michigan State. What was it like running on the field for the first time up there? And who was your coach then?
Coach was Darryl Rogers, and in 1978 we won the Big Ten championship. Ron, my sophomore year at Catholic Central, I was a backup defensive lineman, and a couple years removed from that, here I am running out the tunnel in front of 78,000 people playing in the Big Ten on a football scholarship. So I died and went to heaven. I mean, Catholic Central, they have the Mark Mesners and the Frank Tananas and the Greg Markses, the Tom Lagarde. There are so many high-profile, great, talented athletes that are destined for greatness. My sophomore year.
You're going back to Catholic Central again.
Yeah, well, life is Catholic Central for me. I do that. I do perseverate on it because it was that. But
Tommy Lagarde and Tanana and all those great guys.
I wasn't one of those guys. There's no way that when I go back to tonight, the first Wednesday of every month, Our Lady of Sorrows has an informal all-class reunion in downtown Farmington. We get together, whoever catch can. There's no one that I went to grade school with that would have ever envisioned. I would have been laughed out of the school if I told them, hey, man, I'm going to get a football scholarship and go play football at Michigan State. It came out of nowhere.
Jeff, I'm going to take a break in the action here. I've said this before. It's pretty cool, honest to God. I have 3 sponsors, and I've always talked about 2, and I called a buddy of mine the other day, and I was telling him what we've been doing, and I haven't spent a minute trying to get sponsors, and I really need to. it costs money. I was talking to my buddy Mike McHugh, a St. Agatha grad. He graduated a year before me. He's got a super business, and his wife, Dr. Shar, is a fantastic lady. They bought just last year, a year and a half ago, Clark Lake Golf Course out in Brooklyn. And he's 68 years old. Who buys a golf course? Who wants those headaches? He's had his own company. His wife's, they've done fantastic. I mean, unbelievable. So anyway, he's got Clark Lake. I've been out there. His son was a Marine. I went to his wedding. My wife and I sat outside. They've spent, I don't want to say millions. I know they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Great food. And the Clark Lake Golf Course, everybody take a shoot out to the Irish Hills and see Mike McHugh and Shar. They're the nicest, greatest people, both of them. The other two sponsors are Mamma Mia's Pizza at Grand River and Beach, right where St. Agatha was. Again, Mike's the owner. Great pizza, great filet mignon, pasta, and nice people. They'll take care of your catering needs. And the last one is my friend, my St. Agatha classmate. His name is Dr. Timothy Kosinski. He's at 13 Mile and Telegraph, and Tim's trained thousands of dentists. He's done tens of thousands of implants. And I can smile today because I've got 11 in there and one's being done right now. Painless Dentistry, Dr. Timothy Kosinski, and he is great. He's been on this show. There's not a nicer guy than Tim. So anyway, we share one thing in common. We both have great wives. You're Kimberly and my Michelle.
Yeah. When I walk into the room, people don't stare at me. I married a beautiful woman inside and out, and anybody that knows us, there's no one that says, Kim, you got the better end of the deal. I've been blessed. We've been married 36 years. We got married on May 15th, 1987 at Our Lady of Sorrows in Farmington, and my wife, Kim, was a kindergarten teacher at Kenbrook Elementary in Farmington for 30 years, and she's retired now, and she's a full-time grandma, and I'm a full-time grandpa. But
isn't that the best?
Yeah, I married well. I married up.
You said we're blessed, and my next right here was we're blessed to also have kids and grandkids close by. Ours are within 45 minutes, all doing great. With the sixth grandchild on the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of synergy between your life and mine. You just talked about Brooklyn. My older son is a Hillsdale graduate. He and his wife live in Northville, and they have a 4-year-old son and a 7-month-old daughter. And then my daughter, Kelsey, and her husband, Nick, who's a Brighton High grad right around the corner here. They're Albion, and they have a 2-year-old son and 3-month-old twins. And they live in Northville, and my youngest son, Garrett, also lives in Northville. So my 3 children live in a 3-mile radius, and we have 5 grandchildren under 4 years old. So when I retired from corporate America, I just transitioned to another career of trying to be the world's best dad and trying to be the world's best grandfather and be there to support every step of the way. And teaching my grandchildren how to read seems a lot more honorable and a lot more gratifying to me than navigating through the P&L of corporate America at this point in my life.
What life lessons would you like to pass on to our listeners?
The biggest one would be when you pray, do you pray that God grants you what you are wishing for, or do you pray that God gives you the strength to help others achieve their dreams? And are you willing to give of yourself? And there's the old, if you could go back and see yourself 40 years ago, what advice would you have given yourself? The advice would probably be, I wish I would have not just tried to do the right things for myself and try to maybe be a role model, but I actually would have spent more time trying to impact and encouraging and helping others to achieve their dreams.
Well, you just answered both those questions I had. The second question was going to be, what do you want people to say about you at your funeral? So you covered that. Do you have a favorite charity or foundation you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, Ron, the last couple years, things that I've done charity-wise, going in the rearview mirror, December, with the Goodfellows, we worked to identify 3 families and took Christmas presents to their children. In November, through the NFL alumni and Treon, we worked the Monday before Thanksgiving, passing out 500 turkeys in downtown Detroit and Corktown. Every year, our good friend Kirk Gibson, no need to everybody knows him, and he's dedicated his life to Parkinson's research and Parkinson's fundraisers, so always put together a foursome at Wingate in August with the Kirk Gibson outing. Have done every year U of M, I coached Northville Colts and got to be good friends, and a good friend, stand-up guy Rich Hewlett, has a golf outing for juvenile diabetes at the University of Michigan, and every year I put a foursome in that. Nice. Sleep and Heavenly Peace, have done some things with them. Have done, a couple of years ago, did Special Olympics up in Mount Pleasant. Humbling. You want to talk about a life's altering, and I've, over the years, done a lot of little league coaching and things of that nature. So, accomplishment in life without giving back is incomplete. Just that simple.
Jeff, what's being a Catholic mean to you?
Being a Catholic means being the best version of myself that I can be, and what can I do to help others? Be a faithful and an honorable husband, have a great relationship with my 3 adult children. And I once heard the barometer of what's the most important thing in life, and if you have children, what's the relationship when it's all said and done with your adult children? Being a great grandfather to my 5 grandchildren, being a friend that you can count on and trust. In the business world, hopefully I've mentored people and I've helped them grow, and I've helped them educate their families to be able to have a house, to put food on the table, to be able to retire, but give more than you take. Mm-hmm. And be an honorable person that, again, you put a smile on people's faces when they see you coming, not because you're leaving.
Darren McCarty was here, and he's a wild card. He's great. He's awesome. He's funny as hell. He was just
impressive.
Solid,
listen to
sharp, and
yeah.
You know what his thing was? It was really, he's got to like the man in the mirror. Yeah. And as you get older, you start to, maybe things slow down for you in a good way, where you can really adjust if you haven't always been that way. I think I've been that way in business my whole life. Everything was about really, the single thing is my reputation. That your reputation is what you've got yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And if yesterday it was bad, some things aren't so bad, but really that reputation is huge. And so you played softball with some big-time softball guys, and the National Trails team, and Mark Matchlet and Billy May and the Mully Boys.
Yeah,
Dave, I talked to
Bill.
Dave. Dave said to say hi.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Dave is.
yeah. No, I had fun playing softball. I actually played pretty competitive stuff where they'd fly me and my wife around the country and had fun doing that for a couple of years after I was done playing football. Actually, back up at Michigan State, we had, I think there were over 500 teams in the intramural softball league, and we actually was on the team with Rick Kay, who was on the basketball team, and some other guys.
Rick Kay, I remember him.
Yeah, we actually won the intramural championship. So I still have a trophy, MSU champs, about a 5-inch trophy. After playing about 17 games, we won the championship. It was fun. Yeah, I like softball. My wife didn't so much care for it, but that's part of the reason I fell in love with her, is that she would follow me around and go to my softball games. A lot of women wouldn't do that.
One of my best buddies growing up at St. Agatha in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, we played basketball and we played football together, baseball. We played everything together. I was at his house or he was at mine. Catholic Central guy, big time basketball player and a big time softball player. Danny Griffin.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him in Naples 2 years ago. We flew down and he actually called his sister. I hadn't seen him in 35 years. He called his sister Patty, and she got in touch with me, and she said, Danny would like to golf with you or get together. So we went to Lakeland Country Club here, and where we're members out in Brighton, and he and I, he's 6'6".
Yes.
So it'd be the same picture like with you know, Mutt and Jeff, but he's a great guy.
I was graduating class CC of 77. Dan was CC 75, and he was a very good basketball player. Matter of fact, the year after he graduated in 76 was the last time Catholic Central won the state championship in basketball. But
who was on that team?
Oh, Dave Abel, Al Mitchell.
Oh, he was a good football player,
Mike
too.
Prince, Rob Gonzalez.
Good team.
Good team. Dan Fitzgerald, Bill Perrin.
Did Danny Griffin start on that team?
He was gone. He had already graduated.
Oh, had he? Yeah.
Yeah. Because he must be. I'm 64. He's probably 66, 67.
He's my age, 67.
Yeah. A youthful 67. Right.
You just got the best laugh in the show. Good
you
job,
look good.
Jeff.
You look good. You take care of yourself.
I get up and fight every day, and
Good man.
happier today than at any point in my life.
Hopefully, as we get older, we mature, and you and I have lived great lives. It's a privilege and an honor to be 60 anything, 70 anything. Don't complain. Just be grateful, because some people aren't allowed the privilege to experience being grandfathers and the things that we have been able to live.
Well, my wife had, and she's Italian Catholic, Irish Catholic. That's a crazy mix. But she had breast surgery yesterday. She wouldn't have a problem with me saying that. She had some tumors removed, and she'll be 67 in September. But these are real life things that are coming home, and scare you. She was scared, even though it's benign. Still, it takes a week to put the tests out and see what happens.
Well, that's getting back to the leadership and what does it mean to be a Christian. You look in your workplace, you look around you. There are those. There's someone that's having marital problems. There's another person that has a parent in assisted living. There's someone else who has financial issues. There's someone else who is battling depression and anxiety. And as you look around, you realize that everybody's got something going on, and they don't wear a big banner on their chest, but as a leader and a mentor and someone who's in a position to change that, have empathy and let them know that they matter. I heard Nick Saban say, never miss a chance to tell someone how special they are and how much they're appreciated.
That's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Last week, thought I could talk to Phil Hickey for, I was hoping 5 minutes. Another guy we're shooting for. We shoot for stars on here, and good.
Or almost stars in my case, but that's okay.
No, you did great things, and your family's great. You're a star in that arena too. But Phil is he owns Miller's Ale House, like 37 of them through Georgia and Florida. And Phil is unbelievable. He owned Cookers.
Mm-hmm.
He owned Rio Bravo. He owned Capitol Grill. Mm-hmm. And has had stake in it. Now I think under his umbrella, he's chairman of the board now.
There's a lot of ale houses down in Florida, I know.
Those are his. And he's a Michigan State grad.
Of course.
He's closest friends with Izzo. Mm-hmm. He told me how much money he gives him, and he didn't say I could say it, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so what's funny, he talked at Michigan State about 2 years ago, did the commencement speak, probably at the business college. Mm-hmm. He came up with this idea. He's doing Harvard here soon. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is where and he and I talked for 90 minutes. I was surprised he gave me more than 5. Phil's. Yeah. So you know what he said? The last time he was up at Michigan State, he did the commencement speech, and he said, it kind of referred to what you were just getting at. He said, I talked to him and I told the whole audience, 50, 60,000 people, he said, everyone close your eyes. And they all closed their eyes. And he said, now think about the one person that was in your life when you were young that said, Jeff, you can do it. I know who mine was. My father-in-law was a colonel in the Army. I nickel-plated handguns for Detroit cops at 16, 17. Did you talk about an education? Mm-hmm. That's an education. That's when those cops were pretty able more to do their job, might be a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But my father-in-law told me, colonel in the Army, Guadalcanal, Corps of Engineers, he said, Ron, if I'm riding the river, I'd love to have you at my back. To hear that from that person who I respected so much, that's what I mean. So did you have that person?
Tom Mack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He believed in you.
Again, it comes back to Catholic Central. Yeah, the magic is in believing. If the mind can conceive it, the body can achieve it. Mm-hmm. The team is everything. And you can't achieve anything great in this world without helping others achieve their dreams. And I learned that in the business world. At some point, when I was younger, I was leading the brigade, and at some point, I realized just sit in the back of the room and drink coffee and keep your mouth shut and let other people grow and
Darren McCarty 4 Stanley Cups, and he said until this Red Wing team will learn, they're a young team and they're coming on, the Red Wings are doing pretty good.
Yeah, tied for the 8th spot as of last night, yeah.
Well, Darren said this. He won 4 Stanley Cups. He knows. Darren knows. Mm-hmm. And he said, until you care more about the guy sitting next to you than you care about yourself, you won't win.
Correct.
I thought that was awesome. I just thought that was really cool.
Well, and again, it's getting further and further away from us, by the way, because with social media, and it looks like in corporate America, it's more about what image is it that you want to portray, and you got back to, again, it comes back to Coach Mack. One of his isms was the man in the glass, and your final reward will be heartache and tears if you fooled the man in the glass. The rest of the world may think you've been successful and pat you on the back, but if you don't like what you see in the mirror on your deathbed, you will die miserable. Absolutely, believe that wholeheartedly.
I got a laugh out of my son about something similar to that. The other day we were talking about it, and I said, in Florida you go to Naples or down there in Georgia, and you're traveling, and there's all these retirees, and a lot of them were, I know a few different families, not going to mention their names, where they were about our age, or maybe they were older, but they left when they were in their 50s or early, and they moved to Florida, and they left their families here, and they weren't snowbirds. They left, and I think that's the wrong way to do it. I think you go on vacation, you come home, because you're going to miss the games. You're going to miss, like I was rolling around. I had my daughter, Emma Marie Slazarczyk, her last name. My daughter went from Jess to Slazarczyk. Mm-hmm. Took me a half a day to take off to spell Slusarczyk.
Not easily done.
No. So we put her and I, we still compete. And the old man, Grandpa, Papa, she's running around doing flips and jumping around. She's 7 years old. And I said, let me get some coins. I gave her 4 coins. I got 4 coins, and we pushed this thing over about 10 feet away, and we're trying to flip them in. She's so competitive. She keeps moving closer. I say, hey, back up, And, competition, whether you're just screwing around, and we were rolling around and laughing and having a good time. She's cute. Yeah. And, that's where it starts, I think.
Does for me. I mean, to each his own. But
yeah,
what good does it do you to conquer the world if you have to sacrifice your soul when it's all said and done to get there? And if you accumulate wealth and you have a nice place and a second house, one of the books I read one time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But long story short, the more things that you have, the more of a burden they become. And so I think a big part, we talked about leadership principles and life principles. To me, life is better simple, and the more you complicate it, the more frustrated you get. So it's people, it's not stuff.
We grew up like you, blue collar, and that's, you got to remember where you came from.
Our dads were cops and firemen and truck drivers and carpenters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not attorneys, not PhDs.
Jeff, I think we're probably getting close to the end here. Any final thoughts? Something you want to throw out? NFL, friends from the NFL. You talked Don Shula.
I've lived the American dream. I've had more great things happen to me with a beautiful wife. My oldest son, Ryan, my daughter, Kelsey, my youngest son, Garrett, they never once ever anything bad. Always good kids, never got in trouble, always did the right things. I'm just so proud, and try to raise the bar in the family as much as I can to keep everybody going in the same direction, and not to be overly simplified, but just try to put a smile. When you think of me, if it brings a smile to your face over something silly, or we shared a meal, or we shared a beverage, or we shared an event, and somehow or another I made your life a little bit better, or you learned something, or we had a good conversation, and I helped, that's how I want to be remembered. I just want you to smile and raise the whiskey glass to me and say, I'll miss him.
Well, I'm not raising any whiskey glasses. 10 months ago, that was over. But I will tell you this,
Iced
Jeff.
tea.
Hey.
Been an honor.
It's been an honor, and I would say you'd be a guy I'd love at my back going down a river, and that's
I got you covered.
That's as high as it can go.
I don't disagree. Yeah, got you covered.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, I do have. I brought you a Jeff Wiska USFL card. It sells on eBay for 5 cents. So I know Denny McLean's might fetch a little more money, but if you put that somewhere in a file cabinet, and one day, years from now, you open it up and you see that, and it puts a smile on your face and it reminds you of our time together, then that would make me happy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad we did this.
I agree. It's been delightful. It's an honor to be remembered. It really is. It's very kind of you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now it's the end, and I've got 2 gifts for you. I've got a little special gift for you. With the Chamber, we've become members of the Chamber of Commerce in Brighton, and more just getting further into the community here after 30 years.
Yeah.
But one of the great ones we have is the Great Harvest here, and got that gift for you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Check it out.
Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very kindly for the cookies.
Well, the thing about those cookies was they were on the tray. They were just put out about an hour ago. So
yeah. Yeah.
You're going to like them.
Yeah, no,
Your
I know
wife,
I
Kim.
will. And like I said, my son-in-law is a Brighton High grad, go Bulldogs, and for many years I coached the Northville Colts, and we had many a great game at the Bulldog Stadium there. So
Yeah.
you should it's a beautiful city. It really, really is. Beautiful downtown, great high school, beautiful.
Yeah, Clint Copenhaver just raved
Yeah.
about it. You know Clint.
Yes.
97. Well, you don't like Michigan much, but
No, I respect me. I got a lot of friends of me. I'm golfing in Rich Hewlett's juvenile diabetes golf outing every year. This year in June, I got a lot of U of M. There's a misconception, by the way. You beat each other's brains out when you're in college, and then as the years go on, you become friends and you support each other's missions and causes and charities, and you realize what great people they are. And I've got a lot of friends. Nothing but I learned. And you know this, Catholic League, don't like to hear the word hated rivalry. Always respected rivalry, not hated.
nice. That's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and try one of the Jess pickles, Jeff, and let me know. You got to rate it 1 to 10. I'm going to have 1 too. Crunchy? Crunchy?
I don't know. I know a good cup of coffee from a bad cup of coffee. I wouldn't know the difference from box wine and a $10,000 bottle of wine, but your gift is your vice, Ron. You're a slave to perfection. I mean, if one is the best and
10 is the best.
10
and
is the
1
best.
is the worst.
Oh, this is like 11. This is 12. I mean, I'm Polish. I know a good pickle when I taste one. I mean, you are a perfectionist.
We got it. Well, we get them from Eastern Market.
I'd expect nothing less from you. Everything's best in class when it comes to Ron Jess.
Oh, you're awesome. You didn't have to say that, but thanks again, Jeff. And
It's an honor, a privilege. Thank you for allowing me. You have some very high-profile people here, and yes, I played at Michigan State and I bombed around in the pros, but and I'm very, very proud of that. But taking a look at Darren McCarty and Lance Parrish, some of the athletic people that you're interviewing or have interviewed in the last month, I'm extremely humbled and just grateful that you take the time to spend a half an hour with me just checking in and getting my views of the world and solving the world's problems. It's been an honor.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on again.